currency, and that would be the euro. And if you look at the chart for the euro dollar, you can see that it is pretty much similar to the index of the euro. This was what we were talking about last week, that it might hold at the 122.87, but if it fails below that, that was our second structure from last week. And unfortunately, the euro doesn't seem to have nothing, no good news, nothing is coming in any way supportive to the euro. So you get like a small pause, and then it continues to capitulate. This is the same structure point that we have based on the euro index, and it is the 118.75. And we closed the week at the 121.59. The low of the prior week is 121.61. So we are already at a new weekly low close. So the close of this week is already below the low of last week, and that indicates continuation to the downside. And of course, as you can see, that this was the minor structure. So looking at the intraday, if you want to see something just for the just to see that the chart patterns work with irrespective of the time frame, just take a mental picture of this here. See how it looks? You got this coming down, and then you got the structure point, and then it's failing and failing to make higher highs. Just take a mental picture of this for a second. And this would be your big structure point. Once it breaks it, you got the capitulation. Now, take a look at this chart. And it's pretty much the same image. The same image. That is your making down lower lows, making the lower lows, making the lower high, and that is now becomes your structure point, which is the 118.75, and this is where we're coming to it. So if it comes and breaks below the 118.75, that is the structure on a big time frame. If you go and you want to test it, see what happens on a smaller time frame, this is what happens. It's the same setup. There is the equivalent of the 118.72. It will come down to it for a day or so and pause, and then once it rolls over, you're going to get this capitulation. This move here is from 122.29 all the way down to the low that was set was 121.40. So you had about a whole big number, or a whole figure, big number if you will, in the or about close to 1%. That is just on the intraday. So if it does happen with that on the daily chart or on the weekly chart, you're going to look at, as I said, it will take us all the way down to par, or at least the 10% or 20% decline in the euro. So having said that, we want to maintain our short position, and we're going to look at the intraday chart to pinpoint our entries. So as of now, as I said, there is no reason for us to even contemplate on buying. So, but we always have to have the what if scenario. So if I'm looking at this and we are able to identify this as our structure to take it short, then this will be our structure to buy. So our buying point will be here. Okay, this will be our buying point. And if I do buy it over here, I'm going to place my stop, a tight stop. My stop is going to be here, below the 122.16, and I'm going to go short below the low of the day. I'm going to go short below the low of the day, and if I do, my stop is going to be above the 101. I mean the 101.88 would be my stop. Okay, so let's put this on the radar screen. I'm going to buy the euro above 122.29, and if I do, my stop is going to be 122. Make it. Let's make it 122 even. On the short side, I'm going to go short below the low of the day, which is 121.43. And if I do, I have a structure short point which we know is the 118.75. This is the one, the big, as I said, the big structure point. And on the upside, this is my structure point to the upside, which is the 122.87. That is my structural long point. And if I go short below 121.43, my stop is going to be above 121. That is my stop is 121.88. So just to wrap up the euro, I'm going to buy the euro above 122.29. If I do, I have a structure point which is 122.87, and if I do, my stop is going to be 122, so I'm risking about 29 pips on that trade. On the short side, I'm going to go short below 121.43. If I do, I'm looking for a structure short point to the downside, which is the 118.75, and that is going to be a very strong magnet to the prices, and I want to be keeping an eye until it gets there. And my stop is going to be the 121.88. Okay, that is the euro dollar. So let me